just because you don't want to try cannabis or you don't want to use it, you don't have to be an advocate against it.
My name is Jack Maxwell. I once had a job as the booze explorer. Here we go, here we go. But then I got sucker punched by cancer. I then started a whole new journey.
Oh my God, is that good?
The culture of cannabis. I have cancer, it doesn't have me. Come on, up on the magic bus with me, and let's hit the high road.
Come along with me on this high road.
Steven.
What's up, man?
Hey, man, I'm Jack.
It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You know, I'm glad you described yourself. I'll be in the truck in the middle of a field playing music.
How could you miss that?
How could I miss that?
Random guy
I could have found you. This is wild. What's with all the signatures?
There's over like 250 signatures of men and women who served our country on here. A lot of them who aren't with us anymore. So
What happened?
Well, we've got an epidemic obviously in America right now, and we're losing upwards of 20 veterans a day to suicide.
Why is it? I understand the epidemic because they've been through so much, but why aren't we stopping them before it gets to that?
Well, there's a big monster behind all of this that it's rolling, and that's big pharma. I mean, we can dance around the subject all day, but at the end of the day, we're numbers on a piece of paper, and there's numbers that equal equal money numbers. And so when you have big pharmaceutical industrial companies that have contracts with the VA and contracts with the medical facilities all around the country, not even just the VA, then you're not going to see what's been right in front of our face for forever, which is that we can heal ourselves naturally. We can do it without having to use a narcotic, without having to use something that's going to give you a bigger problem like addiction. I already had a music career and was touring and was playing and looked like a functioning part of society, but inside I was crumbling. I mean, there was things I wasn't allowed to even talk about because it's taboo. Post-traumatic stress is still taboo in any industry because they don't know enough about it. The Marine Corps was never on my radar. Like, you'll meet most Marines and they're, oh, my grandfather was a Marine, I wanted to be a Marine. That wasn't even anything. My dad's a songwriter. I wanted to be a songwriter.
So you were a country music artist.
Mm-hmm.
You go into the Marines. What happened?
I don't think anything could really prepare you for Afghanistan. Afghanistan's a completely different monster than what Iraq was. You know, one country's fighting for a government, and the other organization that you're fighting is fighting for what they think their God. And that's what we ran into. You know, a month later, I broke my back and was paralyzed for some time from the waist down. They told me I may never walk again. At that point, you could have told me anything, and I would have tried it to try to get my use of my legs, because let me tell you something, record labels don't call when you're a paraplegic. They don't.
You come home, they operate, you get on medication, of course.
Right.
And it doesn't do what you think it's going to do for you.
I was on Zoloft, hydrocodone, and Ambien at the same time.
Antidepressant, painkiller, and sleep medication.
And sleep medication.
That's a dangerous combination,
It's
isn't
a
it?
horrible combination. It's actually a perfect combination for suicide.
So how do you go from these medications, which were making you crazy,
Right,
to deciding that you're going to try CBD and medical marijuana?
I saw marijuana and CBD and hemp as one thing. It's the same plant.
So did I. That's
It's
right.
a drug. You know, I'd seen Reefer Madness. I knew what it did to you.
Sure.
Woo, it makes you crazy.
Because that's what we were told.
Right. You don't have to, just because you don't want to try cannabis or you don't want to use it, you don't have to be an advocate against it. That doesn't make you an advocate. That makes you an asshole.
That's right.
You're keeping someone else from having something that they need, and it's non-narcotic. Reefer Madness does not exist.
So then you tried it and it worked with the back pain right away?
It did. It was almost instantaneous. Like I said, I had weaned myself off of all of the pain medication and stuff, and the first thing that I tried was a CBD. I couldn't believe that something that just grew on a plant could give the pain relief that it did. And then you start doing more research and you start finding out, wow, this whole plant has a use. Cannabis has come full circle to where you can do everything that you need non-narcotically.
After you discovered it worked, did you get off the other medications? Did you wean off them? Are you completely off them now?
I am. I haven't taken, 2010 was the last time I took any medication.
Did you ever feel suicidal?
I did.
Really?
I did, you know. And
What stopped you?
being able to write songs.
I don't want to be cliche about this, certainly, especially after everything you so willingly discussed with me. But I mean, can you play me one of your songs? I know you brought your guitar,
I did,
and I
man.
know you expected to play, but I'd really love to hear how you heal yourself through whichever song you want to.
This is a
pick.
song called Keep On that I really wrote after, I'd found the cannabis and CBD trail.
So it's Keep On
It's called Keep On, man.
by Stephen Cochran. Veteran, survivor, fellow CBD user.
I know who I was, that's not who I am. I know how I got here, but this was not my plan, so I keep on lying. I keep lying, but don't you see that I'm not the man you thought I was, but I was not supposed to be who I am. But just understand, yeah, this is me, oh, and I can't stop lying to myself.
Thank you.
Ah, thanks, brother.
Take a ride with me on this high road.
And we are lucky enough to have with us Stephen Cochran. Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Jack, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Good to see you again. I know you were just on the episode, obviously, but it's so great to be with you again. Obviously, we filmed that a little while ago, but I have to tell you, and I know I told you on set, you have such an inspiring story, and I know that word sometimes gets overused, but you are so open and honest and vulnerable with your story, with how you feel about the military. You're still a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine.
Always.
And what you're doing with the Stop 22 tour and your music, it's also honest. I know you had no plans to be a Marine, as you told me, because your father was a singer-songwriter. So what was it again? Tell us what brought you into the service, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, hey, man, first I just want to thank you for giving me another platform to talk about what we're doing with Stop 22 and what we're doing with country music for veterans in general. So, again, I had, there's most people that want to be in the Marine Corps have, they've wanted to be a Marine since they were 2-3 years old. Their dad or someone was a Marine. That wasn't the case with me. I don't have any Marines in my family other than a cousin, and my great-grandfather was a Royal Marine in England, but I had no ambition. I wanted to be a singer-songwriter. That's what my dad had done, and that's where I thought my future was headed. But when 9/11 happened, man, and at the time, I'm a 19-year-old strapping young man. I thought I could, at 19, you think you're Superman anyway. So I went and enlisted in the Marine Corps, well into, a country music direction. I had signed a developmental deal. I'd been writing songs for years at Western Kentucky University. So any country that's going to give me the ability to write songs and make a living off of it, I'm going to stand up and defend that country when they need be. And so I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and off the journey started.
I know this may be difficult, and you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. But if you're comfortable, can you take us back to the day and give us the details of exactly what happened to start you on the whole journey of why we met and all? I'm talking about that very serious day where you got injured.
Right. We just passed my, as we call it, our Alive Day. Anybody that's been injured in combat, we call it our Alive Day. And mine was June 14th of 2004 in the Helmand province of Afghanistan, on our way out. We had already lost the first Marine that was killed in Afghanistan, which was Corporal Ron Payne. And the night that we lost him, I think was one that just didn't affect us that was with him the night that he died. It affected our whole battalion. It hit our battalion at the core. And so it was a month after that I was injured myself and broke my back from L1 to L5 and shattered all my lumbars. On one of our last missions, the enemy had dug out a place, I guess, to put a landmine or an entrenchment. I'm not sure what it was. It was a big hole that we had covered up, and my vehicle didn't see it. And so we hit the hole, and it catapulted me. I was a scout, so I sat in the back of the LAV. And so when we hit the hole, it catapulted me out of the vehicle. And then I landed on the bustle rack, and it broke my back from L1 to L5. It shattered my lumbars and even broke the sappy plate that was in the back of my sappy plate holder. I broke my back. I was put in the hospital in Germany. They flew me to Bethesda, Maryland, where they told me that I probably wouldn't walk again. And, all the country music record labels and all the managers and teams that had been talking to me before the Marine Corps, who knew my lineage of my family for writing country music, it stopped, man. I mean, when you can't make somebody money or you're not worth anything, you'd be amazed at who no longer has time for you.
But in spite of that, you have gone on to make great music. But before that, you were on heavy medications for your back, understandably, and you were in a bad place. Can you talk about that?
Do you want to hear the funniest thing is that when you talk about heavy medications for my back, not only was the cocktail of medication that was given for my back pain kind of ridiculous, I was given Seroquel. I'm not schizophrenic. I've never been diagnosed as bipolar or anything else like that. They said that I have survivor's guilt and post-traumatic stress, which, I've been through a hell of a lot of combat.
You told me when we were filming that it gave you thoughts of suicide, of course, and then this was brought to your attention, this horrendously tragic stat that 22 current or former service members a day take their own lives, and that's when you got involved with this, yeah?
Jack, I actually attempted suicide.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I was named the national spokesman for Veterans Affairs, and I wrote their theme song called Hope. You think about this. I wrote a song. I'd gotten so good, when I signed the record deal, I separated my personal life from my business life. You know how it is when you're on the screen and you're on television, you can bury a lot and be professional and do your job. So I'm out here at the height of my career, Friday Night Fireside, thinking I'm drinking Walmart flowers, which were my hits on country radio. I'm out there doing shows across America. I think at one point we gotten up to like 200 shows a year. I'm smiling. I'm telling people that I'm great, and I'm writing all these songs. The VA makes me their spokesperson. I write their theme song. And while they were actually at the VA in Nashville, they were scouting locations. You know how it is when you send out your producers and they scout locations for you. They were scouting locations to shoot the music video for Hope. And I was in the mental ward of that hospital, and they had no clue because I had attempted suicide 4 days before that.
Let's talk about how you went from opiates to cannabis.
I slowly transitioned off of everything that was made in a pharmacy. I found CBD, which has been amazing for my back. The older I get, the harder it gets and the worse it gets. But with CBD and cannabis, man, I don't take any medication anymore. I take sinus medication and allergy medication because I'm supposed to have surgery on this thing that's been broke a few times here soon. But other than that, I take no pain medication. My wife can come in here and tell you I take zero pain medication other than maybe some topical rubs.
I think that's going to be hard for people to understand that you went from real heavy medications for sleep, for depression, for pain, all of it, and just transitioned to cannabis, which compared to those things seems weak. How does it bring you relief from pain and suffering when those things are so strong? And cannabis is just not understood to be that. How does it help you specifically?
Well, it's also finding the strand that works. I mean, people think that just, a lot of people when they talk about cannabis or CBD, they think it's like, the 1970s where we're all just getting in a circle and we're going to pass a joint around of some swag that somebody got somewhere. There's strands now. I mean, there's literally people in Colorado, California, many of the different states now, who are designing these strands to just specifically go after back pain, stress, post-traumatic stress. And so it's finding the strands that work for you right in CBD and in cannabis. And you've got to find the ones that work well enough together to kind of topple that. And let me tell you, when people think it's weed, it's if you find, instead of just finding something that makes you zero across the board, when you find something that can just take the pain away and still let you be you, that's what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to just be zero. All I know is I can't say that it's for everyone. There's people out there that obviously need something that maybe we don't have to offer. I haven't seen it yet personally, but for me, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. I went from a guy who tried to commit suicide to a guy who's married and has 5 children.
Let's talk about the Stop 22 tour. As I alluded to earlier, there was this tragic stat: 22 service members a day, either current or former, were killing themselves. And I don't know what the number is now. I understand it went down some. But can you talk about your involvement with that? Because I know you were almost one of those casualties. You escaped it. Of course, we know why now and how. But how did you get involved with this after the fact?
Well, I mean, obviously, once I figured out, look, dude, I'm not special. I can write songs, and a million other people can write songs. I've been given a platform. I think I've been given a purpose. But what I realize is I'm not special. If I'm going through something, someone else is probably going through it as well. So what I've done, man, is, I went out and found other talented singer-songwriters who've had success on country radio and other radio: Tyler J., Sal Gonzalez, Jonathan Wells, Sam Tate, and we've all gotten together. Daniel Dean is who I found this with, who's a Marine Corps sniper, and we all got together. We started playing these songs that we had written about our journey, and like I said, we're not special. We're just guys who can take these words and these feelings and put them into songs and play them to other veterans and let them see that, hey, man, you're not going through this alone. We've been through it. We're still going through it, and we can get through this together. And we're also educating the civilian populace, because a lot of people don't realize we are literally losing upward of 22 veterans a day to suicide, and we just don't hear about it enough. So we're taking our platforms, we're taking, the hits that we've had on country radio, and we're touring the country continuously until we bring that number down to 0. So if I've got a tour till I die, that's what we're going to do.
Let's tell people how to get to that. I know it's StephenCochranaofficial.com.
Definitely. And then if you're on Facebook, just look in hashtag Stop22 Tour or Roman's Warrior Foundation. Here's the thing, Jack. There's so many organizations out there that think that they're going to be the great savior. They're going to save all these veterans. The problem is that everybody heals differently. Some people need to talk about it. Some people need to just have someone else that can understand what they're going through. We've got to link our shields. All these veteran organizations, from VFW to AMVETS to DAV to American Legion, Stop 22, Roman Warrior Foundation, Irreverent Warriors, we've all Semper Fi Fund. We've got to link together, because we've got to combat this together. That's the only way that we win. It's the only way that we can let everyone know, civilian or veteran, what's going on and how you can be helped with this. So I'm seeing that in Tennessee a lot, and I'm hoping that we can be the blueprint for the nation.
You seem like you're doing okay, man. I mean, I know there's not one magic thing, and I know cannabis helped, and getting off the opiates helped, and having a great wife and a great family and a great dog helped, and the support of your friends and family. I have to disagree with you with one thing. You are special, because your story is so inspiring, and you're so honest, and I just admire that so much about you, Stephen.
Hey, man, I love you, bro. I feel like I've known you longer than I've known you, because I have to be like a fanboy here for a second. I was a huge fan. we would get together and we'd watch Booze Traveler. It was a great show. You're a great host, man. You're a great host. You find a way to connect with people. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you one thing. Jack Maxwell is exactly who he is on screen. He's a great guy. He connects with you. I consider you one of my brothers now.
Thank you so much for your time, your talent, and your honest and vulnerable sharing of your life story, good and bad and everything in between. I appreciate you so much, my man.
Man, thanks for giving me the platform and all you do. I mean, you're speaking to the nation for us, man. So I really appreciate it. And continue on your road, man. It's a high road.
Thank you, buddy. I'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, sir.
I love you. Hang in there.
Love you too, man. See y'all later.
So long. Whew. If that doesn't affect you, you're not alive. Thank you for joining me for another episode, a special one in my mind, of The High Road. We'll see you next time.